Ciao, everybody, and welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone. And today is a very special episode of the live show. Today's transfer deadline day, and it's come and gone very quickly. Today's date is obviously Tuesday, August 31st, 2021. And like I said, today was the last day of the market. It closed at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. in Italy, 31st, 2021. And there are still windows open across Europe. I believe England is still open right now, and so is Spain for the next hour, I believe. So if anything happens, we'll probably update you if it's major. But for the most part, we're going to talk about what happened this whole summer in terms of Juventus, the incomings, the outgoings, how we're going to rate the Mercato this year, and I'm going to ask you guys what your thoughts are on the Mercato. But first, I'm just going to go on a little soliloquy and describe my thoughts of what happened this summer. So, like with limited funds, it was always going to be tough to improve the squad during the Mercato. Having said that, everything seemed to go against Juventus, from the Szczesny-Donnarumma debacle, the meetings for Locatelli, the inability to sell fringe players, the inability to bring in players that were required to improve the squad, and Ronaldo's untimely departure. All these things made for a very dull and boring and uninspiring summer market for Juventus. However, there are a few bright spots that Juventini can see, and we can see the light at the end of the tunnel from the summer and where we're going in the future. We made 4 signings, as you can see. Our producer Ale is going to have the continuous graphic of the outgoings and incomings, but we did make 4 signings. We have 4 arrivals. They're all under 23, 2 of which are full senior internationals, 2 Italian senior internationals in Locatelli and Keane. And the other 2 are Mohamed Hatarin and Kyle George, and they are promising youngsters that we think that they'll be good for our team going forward. In terms of the outgoings, we know the big guy left. Ronaldo left, like I said, in an untimely manner. We also know that we got money for Christian Romero. That was from a deal previously done last year, where we got 16 million euros. We sold him to Atalanta, and then Atalanta in turn sold him to Tottenham for 55 million. So we lost out there. Another sale was Mary Demiral. We got 3 million euros for that loan deal, and I think the total is going to be 28 million at the end of next year if they decide to trigger that. Demiral went to Atalanta, as we all know. The other outgoings, they're all loans. As you can see, we got Douglas Costa. I think Douglas Costa just left for free. He went back to Gremio. Buffon left on a free. He went to back home to Parma. We had Radu Dragusin and Mohamed Hatarin. They went to Sampdoria. Fagioli went to Cremonese in Serie B. Ranocchia went to Vicenza in Serie B. Who else? Marco Piazza went to Torino. Just a bunch of went out the door. Hamza Raffia went to Standard Liège, I believe. And am I missing anyone? Yes, Gianluca Frabotta. I can't forget about him. He went on loan to Hellas Verona. So, sorry about that. So, yeah, very uneventful summer. Just 2 big names that we have to really focus on. Ronaldo going out and Locatelli coming in. Those are the major things that happened for us in terms of squad composition. So I'm going to be asking you guys, I hope you guys have a lot of inputs today, because I don't have much to say in terms of what happened. We all know that it sucked for the most part. We have a very incomplete squad. If we look at our final roster, it's nothing to look at, nothing to be scared of. I still think we only have the 3 strikers. We have Keane, Morata, and Kyle George. Oh, I guess Dybala too, but he's not no striker. The squad composition is not good enough. We still have a lot of dead wood. We still have Bernardeschi. We still have Ramsey. We still have De Sciglio, Rugani. We still have all these guys. We couldn't replace them. We had no money. But for the most part, it was, how do I want to say this? There's a lot of missed opportunities, let's say. If you guys have followed up with the market, there were a lot of players that were available even on a slightly cheap loan deals. I'll get into that in a bit, but for the most part, I would rate this supermarket. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. I'll give it a 5 out of 10 strictly because we missed out on lots of targets. We couldn't sell our deadwood, and we didn't get anyone of significance other than Manuel Locatelli when we needed more to improve in the midfield. And we definitely need more in terms of attacking sense because Moise Kean, great player, he will be good for the club, but we needed more to supplement where Ronaldo leaves behind. So I'm going to go through the comments now just to start off. Mr. Dak says, Kyle, Keane, and Manuel. Yeah, and you can throw in Haturin in there. I know he's not staying with the team, but he is a signing. He's an incoming. He is actually an interesting prospect. Snowflake says, failure and regret. That's what I see. Yeah, there's some fail. Not everything was a failure, though. Again, like the Locatelli signing is big. Getting Keane in is still big. The other two are prospects for the future, so we'll see what they turn into. Hanin says, your best formation. I think we should go with a 4-2-3-1. 4-3-3 doesn't work with this team. We haven't seen Allegri actually play the 4-4 or 4-3-3 yet with his total squad, what all the players he has available to him. So I'm assuming after the international break, we won't be having a lot of practice time because the international break ends and then we got to play Napoli. So in that sense, we won't have a lot of practice time with our new squad players. So I don't expect Keane to play or to start at least against Napoli. So there goes that. But I do think a 4-3-3 would still work with the squad. Again, it would have to be Sandro at left back, De Ligt or Chiellini, and Bonucci. Pick 2 of the 3, and then Cuadrado as a right back. Then at Regista, man, Arthur maybe, if he's fit. He's going to start training with the team soon. But Arthur as a Regista, Locatelli as the Mezzala, and McKennie, I guess, as the attacking mid for now. This is why we desperately needed some help there in the midfield. Out left, we have Chiesa. Down the middle, we got Morata, and Dybala as the right winger / inverted center forward to play off Morata. And that way, that leaves a bunch of space for Cuadrado to bomb down the right side. Obviously, I'm using the tactic that Mancini used for Italy during the Euro Cup, and it seemed to work. And I just switched sides. So Insigne was the guy on the left side to come in between or come and help underneath Immobile, and then Spinazzola had the whole left side to bomb down. I'm just switching it over. I'm saying Dybala's on the right side, playing off Morata, and Cuadrado has the whole side. In a 4-2-3-1, man, the two in a double pivot, who do you trust to protect defenders and to get on the ball? You trust Locatelli, obviously, but who else? Do you trust Rabiot? Do you trust Bentancur? Early signs last year that doesn't or transmit success in my view. Andrew Finnan says, already bored of the international break and it hasn't even started. Forza Juve, ciao all. What's up, Andrew? Yeah, the international break sucks. The only good thing is you get to watch your home nation, and that's 2 or 3 times, I guess, in the next 2 weeks. I'll be watching Italy. I don't know about everyone else. I don't know who everyone else supports. Uzman says, hello, guys. Comicus says, hello, or hi, Juventini. Andrew Finnan says, should we have tried Haturin for the season, or do you think he's not ready? Word on the street with the Haturin is that, and if I'm saying his name wrong, I apologize, but I went on YouTube, and that's what YouTube told me to say. I only know him as, well, no, that's not true, but I know him from FIFA, and I know like the video game, and I know him from watching PSV in European competitions. So Haturin, I don't think he shouldn't be on our team right now, the first team anyway. I think it's a smart thing to send him out on loan, especially to a team like Sampdoria, who's in Serie A. Hopefully he gets a lot of playing time there. Hopefully he excels and he adapts to the league well. I think raw talent and talking about potential skill, like he's got it. He's got oodles of that. He's got left foot, wand of a left foot, classic curling and top bins. similar to what Dybala does, similar to what Kulusevski does. He's got a great left foot. He's one of those creative players. It's just word on the street, off-field stuff, his mentality, his work rate. Apparently, it's not all there yet, but he is 19, and he's got some time to grow into that. And maybe under new leadership, maybe under new captaincies like a Chiellini, but at Sampdoria, he'll be under the tutelage of Quagliarella. So maybe he learns the professional way and he adapts and he hits the ground running. Again, that Ihattaren is going to be a player that he's going to be an exciting player when he does well. But if he's going to be one of those guys, if you don't notice him, there's a reason why you don't notice him when he's playing. He has to dominate the ball a lot. So we'll see. I hope he plays. I hope he does well. And if he does well, he's coming right back. He was only $5.5 million at the end of the day. I think it's a good investment. He's one of Rayola's guys, so keep him in the good books as well. And next year, hopefully, we kick on and we grease the wheels for Haaland and Pogba. Don't forget to like the video, like this current video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, click the bell icon. I don't know where it is, but whatever. Click the bell icon and get updated for our new updates, all of our new content. Like I said, I think I said yesterday, the season is coming, or the season has started, but transfer season has ended. So we're going to have a lot more stuff to do with the team, with the gameplay. We will be doing some live reaction games. So I'll have a bunch of friends over at my house. We'll be watching the game, and you'll get to see our live reaction to what's happening in the game. That should be fun and exciting. I do have a couple of Napoli fans, so we're going to get into that. I do have a couple of Milan fans as well, unfortunately, and we'll see. We'll kick the tires around that, and it'll be fun. You should wait and be excited. ROFL, whatever that guy's name is. My rating is 2 out of 10. Absolute dumpster fire. I'm not going to cope. I think a 2 out of 10 would have been just getting some players in and nothing else, and then having the sales that we did. But we did get a guy like Locatelli who he does improve our midfield drastically. Like, let's admit that at least. We should have got more. We should have added more to that. But we did what we did what the management could in terms of how much money they had. You just expect more. So 2 out of 10 is a bit harsh in my opinion, but I see everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and I get why you are frustrated because you expect more, and that's good. Andrew Finnan says, miss Gigi. Yeah. Gigi Buffon should be probably starting if he stayed. He'd be, honestly, after the Szczesny mess that happened against Udinese, I believe Buffon would have started against Empoli. I'm not saying we would have won the game still. Again, we lost that game against Empoli because we were just shit. But, yeah, I think Buffon would have started, and he would have continued to start until he messed up. But I don't think he was going to mess up. MZ Raf. So my mom asked, is it cold where you are? I think she's saying that because I'm wearing a sweater. I got the air conditioning on inside, so yeah, I'm wearing a sweater. Yusuf Murmo says, what would your ideal squad formation be if we had everyone available? So our current squad, I think I just said it. I think I just said the 4-3-3 with the inverted right winger into a center forward kind of area. Again, it would be Alexandro because he's the best that we got. De Ligt or Bonucci or Chiellini as the two center backs. Pick two out of the three. Quadrado as the right back. That bombs up and down the flank there. Arthur as our regista because, again, that's the best we got right now. Locatelli as Mezzala. McKennie as a trequartista just because he can score goals. Again, we have nobody that can play there right now. On the left, you have Freddie Church. Up top, you got Morata, and then underneath him, you got Dybala. Usman says, given the Pandy financial fallout, Ronaldo's untimely departure, and hangovers from previous directors, we've done okay. Exactly. Again, I'm not going to give it a high mark, but 5 out of 10 seems just. There were a lot of players available for smaller fees right now, especially on deadline day today. And in the past couple of days, you've seen some really ridiculous moves. Like for example, Donny van de Beek doesn't play for Man United, and his agent was offering himself to Italy, but why we could have just asked. I don't know why couldn't we just ask Man United. I know from talking to producer Ale that Manchester United didn't even want him to go, but it doesn't hurt to ask for a loan. Same for Aouar. Why couldn't we just ask? Why couldn't we just say, hey, give us him on loan? Saul from Atletico Madrid. He went to Chelsea today for 5 million euros on a loan. Why couldn't we just ask? I know there's a lot to do with players' will, but there were still plenty of players out there. Marcel Sabitzer went for 16 million euros. I know he probably wanted Bayern Munich, but why couldn't we just ask? Another player, Renato Sanchez. Why couldn't we just ask? So, again, there was plenty of center midfielders that would instantly upgrade our team for very small fees. Like there would be loan fees. Again, just I don't know how busy Cherubini was. I don't know how much he was actually looking into these players. I don't know even know if the players want to come, but it is what it is. I keep saying it is what it is because literally nothing materialized and since Ronaldo left, only Keane materialized, and there's a lot of names linked, but at the end of the day, we didn't capitalize on any of them. Haneen says, do you think our team improved or not from last year's team? Do you think we can win the Scudetto with this team this year? We lost a dude that scored 30 goals, but I do think the team will score the same. Like they'll make up for the goals lost by him, but we do not have the same team we did last year, and our team last year finished fourth. Now we did upgrade midfield, obviously, because we got one midfielder. We didn't lose any. And Keane should score. I think so. If you haven't watched the coach's corner yet that we did, try and look at that because we went in depth into what Moise Kean can bring to the team. I expect him to score 15 goals this year in all competitions. I expect Dybala to score more than what he had last year because he's going to play more. Knock on wood. I expect Chiesa to score more. On paper, our squad did get worse, but I think with the coach that we have, he can get the stuff together, and we can be a top 4 team at minimum. I wouldn't even worry about the Champions League right now. Just getting to the knockout phases would be awesome. We'll see how we do against Chelsea there. But for now, let's think about a top 4 finish. Let's think about maybe pushing Inter for Scudetto. Maybe, I'm saying. And until then, our squad on paper did get worse. If all ROFLMAFAO FTW says, if all this butt licking Raiola doesn't get us Haaland next year, I'd be super pissed. Yeah, you know what? We've been stroking his you know what for the past 2-3 years now. We have a great rapport with him. We got Moise Kean out of a bad situation in Everton. We kept Pellegrini with Juventus. We took Ihattaren from PSV and gave him a new situation to play in. We're paying De Ligt a nice little wage for a young player. I don't see the rapport is still very good with him. Now, again, can we pay his agent fee? I hope so. And I think I put this theory out yesterday that even if Haaland and Pogba were if Raiola did make him go to Juventus, I think Raiola would say, if I bring these two here, De Ligt would go and be sold. I say that because he'll get a 3-way payday, and we have Haaland and Pogba essentially for De Ligt, which I'm not. I'll let you guys decide. Would you take Haaland and Pogba in order to flip De Ligt to satisfy Raiola? Can you do that? Can you put that as a poll? Do that. Would you take Haaland and Pogba or just keep De Ligt? Put that out there. Let's see what the people think. Uzman says, I think next summer with the fans returning and this season and finances flowing normally again, the war chest for next summer will be much better. That is coupled with the capital investment that we got from Exor. So the family money is coming back into the club. So I think we will have more money next year. Hopefully we'll spend it wisely. Hopefully we can spend it on these top players. So the poll's out right now. Would you take Haaland and Pogba but let De Ligt go? Answer that, and we'll see what the consensus is. Oh, I scrolled way too down. Sorry guys, I'm on my iPad again, so a little technical glitch. I'm using my phone to read the comments. Oh yeah, here we go. Yusuf says we can't sell our Deadwood player because they are all earning more than they should. Teams were not ready to pay that, and the players were not ready to take a pay cut. Yeah, 100%. I totally get it. So a guy, let's for example, a guy like Bernardeschi, he's got 1 year left on his contract. Why wouldn't he go to a team like on a free transfer? Because we can't, obviously, a team won't actually pay for him and pay a salary. But why can't we get our team to sign him to a 3-year contract, and at the end of that contract, that's more money for him than what he makes this year alone. So it's more guaranteed money. I don't know if they're thinking like that. I don't know if our management thought like that. Like say Fede, like Berna, go to Lazio, for example, and take $3 million a year for 3 years. That's $9 million, and he's making, I think, $4 million now for 1 more year. Why couldn't we push that agenda? Maybe we did. Who knows? Maybe Federico Bernardeschi just loved the team so much. I don't know, but these are all there's many things that you can think of to try and push players away. We saw Roma just terminate the contract completely of Javier Pastore. So I don't know. I think there were some options that could have been made. Timothy says, hello, Juventini. What's up, Timothy? Usman says, Cherubini and Arriva Bene need now to focus on selling the Deadwood. Yep. Either they perform or get sold. That should be the ultimatum. I think that's been the ultimate. I think we've been trying to sell Bernardeschi for the past 2 years, to be honest. Just no one wants to pay for him and match the salary that he's getting. I think he will leave on a free transfer at the end of next year when his contract's done. So yay, I guess. But it is what it is with Berna. He's going to trip over the ball and fall out of bounds. He's going to lose the ball constantly. I just prefer if he didn't play, but I'm not the coach. Justin Soforo, the co-host, says, going to be watching Moise Kean with a strong eye this break. So he's going to be watching the Italian national team play against, I think, Bulgaria. Did they play Lithuania? I forget. But they got 2 or 3 games this week, or this international break, and I expect Kean to play a lot because they're against lesser opposition. I think Justin went over that last night in the Kean video that we made. I'm really excited for Moise Kean, only because he adds to the Ital Juve philosophy. He's a young player. He's obviously 21 years old. He's gotten a lot better since the last time he's been with us. And now we got 6 Italian internationals on our team. So that's one positive to take from this. Bun says, looking forward to watching Kean and Chiesa and Zaniolo up front for Italy in one of the upcoming qualifiers. Yeah, I don't know what Mancini has planned. Obviously, he loved having Insigne and Immobile as the starters. I don't know what he's going to do, but that's totally up to him. Luis Sandoval says, it's always next year for Juve. I think the past 2 years, it was good to say that. It was fine and feasible because there was a pandy issue. There was a global pandemic. And saying next year, we're going to get out of it eventually, out of our financial crisis, because the owner of Juventus is Exor, and they are a multi-billion-dollar corporation. So I think they'll get out of it just fine as well. So I think we'll be fine financially in the next couple of years. But the main thing is we have to our competitiveness has to maintain. We have to be in the Champions League. We have to make a top 4 finish. That's the bottom line. That's the only way I see this team getting more influx of money as well. Smiley Face says, Ihataren, Ranocchia, Fagioli, Pogba, summer 22 is going to be midfield year. Well, for those first three, they're all out on loan. So let's see how they do on their loan on their loan deals. Ihataren, especially because none of us have actually seen him play in Italy before. Ranocchia and Fagioli, they're going to Serie B. So if they dominate Serie B, you have a good idea. Next year, we are getting Rovella. We're getting Nicolo Varela back. And he's going to be a main, well, I won't say, he's going to be a first-team player next year. So that's exciting. It's good that he's dominating in Serie A for Genoa, for a bad team. I'm really excited for him. He's been good. He was all right last year, but he's been good the first 2 games of the season, especially against not a team like Napoli, where he was really good last week. Timothy says, I have a feeling Moise Kean is going to improve. Pairing him with Chiesa is going to give him a little push forward. Yeah, again, Moise is 21 years old. He scored 19 goals last year for PSG and a couple with Everton before he went to PSG. He fit in right well with Mbappe and Neymar and all those guys at PSG. I don't see why he can't have some of the same. I know Chiesa and Dybala are not Mbappe and Neymar, but he can still have the same success, if not even more, because more is expected of him for this year, for this Juventus team. My expectations are a little bit higher probably than everyone else's, but I do think that he will score 15 to 20 goals at least. YFG says, I don't care what people say about Mino Raiola when it comes to his business relationship with Juventus. It's the best. Y'all don't know much about Ihataren, but I'm telling you, the kid is a baller. I said that. Come on. But yeah, our relationship with Raiola is probably the best in the world. Like nothing. We rarely have problems with him. I know everyone was pissed off at him when he brought Pogba away to Manchester United, but like at the end of the day, that was the player's will. More so, like Raiola was just in for the ride at that point. He's just like, yeah, this guy wants to leave, let's go, and he got a nice little pay cut from it. But Raiola is who he is. Everyone knows who he is. If a player is on your team and he's the agent, look out because he's going to try and move them. But for Juventus, in Juventus terms, he's been pretty good for us. Italia 0788 says, bummed that Pjanic deal couldn't be done. Really thought it was going to happen, but we'll see what we can do with Locatelli playing more. Yeah, for sure. It would have been a panic buy, but it would have been a good panic buy at the end of the day because we didn't actually get anybody else in midfield. I still would have preferred Witsel so we could do a 4-2-3-1. That would have been a nice formation if we had a defensively responsible midfielder, but obviously that wasn't the case. We didn't get Witsel, so we didn't get anybody. So we're going to have to deal with what we have. Pitta Larson says, fun fact, Ronaldo scored on 1 free kick for Juventus in approximately 100 tries. Won't miss him at all. Hate when we burn free kicks. Okay, yeah. He did score. Like, his free kicks have regressed significantly. He did score that one time where he actually tried to curl the ball in against Genoa. I don't know why he didn't do that all the time, because even for Portugal, when he tries to curl the ball on a free kick, he scores. So whatever. We don't want to talk about Ronaldo now. He's in the past. I'm done. We should just move on from him. Respect what he did for us. Not be happy with how he left, and move on. Smiley Face says, to be honest, I think Juventus is the dark horse that could win the Champions League. Oh, Smiley Face, you are you're an optimist. That's all I could say to that. Our focus should be on the Scudetto in the top 4 finish, at least, at minimum top 4 finish, and then just make the knockout rounds in the Champions League and hope for the best. Ismail Bergatar says, I was annoyed at the poor performance of Bentancur, Rabiot, McKennie against Empoli. Fagioli's move made me even more upset. Ismail, you know what? I'm gonna send you a job. You have to watch Cremonense play in Serie B this year, and let me know how Fagioli does. Because if he's not dominating at that level, or if he's not playing well at that level, then there's no way in heck that he should be playing at Juventus, the first team especially. So I'm gonna task that to you, and I want you to respond to this every time he plays. I want to recap. Deepak Nair says, "Where has Awar disappeared over 12 months? I really hoped he could add this to this ailing mid." Yeah, that was one of the names. That was one of the names I wanted to add. There's a lot of names floating around there that just did not end up moving at the end of the day. He was one of them. I don't know. Like, apparently Leon said earlier, like, I forget, the timelines are so messed up, but 12 o'clock my time, Leon said, "Yeah, we can't find a replacement for you, so we're just not going to let you go." And that's the last I heard about Awar. Pitta oh, sorry. Hold on. No, yeah. Pitta Larson says the deadline is in 58 minutes, so Serie A is done. Serie A was done at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 8 p.m. Italy time. So that's done for them. It's been done for Serie A. No incomings can come. Outgoings to still go out to like England and Spain. Still have less than an hour left. So we'll see for that from that standpoint. But I don't see anybody else leaving at this point unless some outrageous fee comes in. Haneen says 4-3-3 means you'll have two wastes of space in midfield. Italy has an amazing midfield. Yes, but with defined roles in midfield, you can get away with a 4-3-3 like that. If you give Locatelli's Mezzala role, I think obviously he just replaces what Italy has, obviously. Arthur obviously is not as good as Jorginho, no question about that. But Arthur can keep the ball nice and just relieve the pressure from against the other team by holding onto the ball. I know some people say, "Nah, I don't like this. But at some points, it is good that he does that. So you got to take what you can get. Our roster has Arthur. Italian national team has Jorginho. You gotta do what you gotta do. And obviously, we don't have a Barella. We have a McKennie. So we lose out there. We're not as good as the Italian national team in terms of midfield, but you can still play a similar way. Dax is taking a bath. Okay, enjoy. YFG says, "I think we have the upper hand in the Haaland and Pogba transfers. Because we are in need of a striker and PSG is the only competition for Pogba, he ain't going to play second fiddle to Messi." So, Romeo Agresti, as Justin Sofaro pointed out, as he's pointed out throughout this whole transfer window, Romeo Agresti said in May, it's Locatelli and Pogba. So at that time, PSG also had all their money. All the teams had all their money to spend, and Juventus's name was first with Locatelli and Pogba. I think there's a chance to get Pogba. I think we are on top of one of his lists. Like, we're one of the top names on his lists to go to. It's just it's going to boil down to how much we can afford, and if he wants to come back. Because right now our project is regressing. The youth is there, but he's not youthful anymore. Like, you have to think Pogba's going to be 29 next year. He's my age. So he's not a youthful player anymore. And now we start a whole new project with all these younger players. So will he want to come into a team like that? I don't know. Obviously, PSG has the more experienced players. Maybe he wants to go there. But again, he was close to going there this year, but his family is a Marseille family or whatever. They're Marseille supporters, and Marseille hates PSG, so I don't know how that dynamic will work. Obviously, that's all newspaper talk. I don't even know if Pogba's dad is actually a Marseille fan, whatever, but that's word on the street. In terms of Haaland, dude, we need to do everything. Like, just secure him and I'll be happy. We don't even have to get Pogba. If you just get Haaland, I'll be really happy. Andrew Finnan says, Keane a winger or center forward? I hope Morata has some great confidence and determination this year, or else we're screwed everyone. So that's the one thing that was very nice to see. Watching Keane at PSG last year, he's very versatile. He played on the wing, he played up front, down the middle. Again, go watch the YouTube video that Justin and I made last night. It's on the channel. We describe everything there. We show him in different situations on the field. He can hold the ball up. He has the ability to take people one-on-one. He has a very good shooting efficiency. Go take a look. Again, since you're going to be looking through the channel for that video, you might as well like this video, like that video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and click the bell icon so you can get notified when our Coach's Corner does come up. Naim Kuric says, Forza Juve fino alla fine e saluta dalla Bosnia-Herzegovina. Oh, hi, from Bosnia. How's it going? Are you sad that Pjanic didn't come? Let me know. Smiley face says, no, I would keep De Ligt and get Vlahovic and Pogba. So he just turned it around. So this is going back to the poll. How did that poll end up? How do I look at that? Ale, if you have the results for that poll, show me them. Let me know them. Scrolling down, Lincoln Graham says, how many world-class players do you think we have? It's a very good question. So I think at this current stage, Giorgio Chiellini is still a world-class player. I know he does get hurt a lot, but whenever he is able to play, he is like a monster. He's immense. He's still a world-class player. Obviously, he's never been good with the ball at his feet, but in terms of straight-up defending, one of the best in this generation. Bonucci, pretty much the opposite. He's decent at organized defending, but in terms of one-on-one, man marking, all that stuff, not the greatest. But his ball playing ability is, again, generational in the past 10, 15 years. Is he world class? He was when he was at his peak, when he was like 29, 30, and we were going to those Champions League finals. Now, not so much. Is Matthias de Ligt world class? I'm going to sound like a homer, but I do think he's a world class player. He's a monster, and he can play with the ball. Who else? Chiesa, yes, he's on the cusp. He needs to do what he did last year again, just to further cement himself as a world class player. Just so he's not just a blip in the wind. Who else? Dybala, but again, is he consistent enough to be considered a world class player? On his day, 100%. On his day, 100%, he's a world class player. But is he consistently? No. We saw against Empoli, he was an absolute dumpster fire. And I can't stress that enough. I was so disappointed with seeing that. Cuadrado, on his day, world class one-on-one player with the ball at his feet. Usually you'd bet 3 out of 10 times that someone would beat someone one-on-one. I bet Cuadrado beats this guy 9 out of 10 times. And that's crazy for us to have a player like that. We need to get him isolated in situations more and more. I know that we did that. That was the game plan last year, and you're just crossing hope sometimes. But if you can isolate him, like against Udinese, the ball sent the ball over, then Cuadrado went one-on-one. As soon as the ball hit the ball over and switched the ball, I was like, Cuadrado's scoring here. I was at my dad's house, so he can probably vouch for that. I said, yeah, he's scoring here. And he did. And because I know that Cuadrado will beat someone one-on-one 9 times out of 10. So it's nice to have a guy like that. So I'd say probably 6 or 7 could be world-class players on the verge, or they're already there. YFG says, I hope we don't purchase Morata because that would be a stupid purchase. I think so. I mentioned yesterday that we need a stopgap forward. I'm going to assume that Morata is going to be the stopgap forward this year. I don't see us paying 35 or whatever 40 million it is to keep him permanently at the end of next year, especially when we could get a Vlahovic or Haaland who fits the age gap of where we're going. Yeah, it's too much money at the end. Maybe we can renegotiate and bring him back as a backup striker. Maybe we get 15 million or something. But For 40 million, no. I agree. Smiley Face says Chiellini is leaving next year. Bonucci is trash with Juventus. If we're sold De Ligt, we're screwed. Chiellini signed a 2-year contract, so maybe. Oh, so you said the next year. I thought you meant like this year. I was not. No, you're right. Never mind. Yeah, we need more center backs. If Atalanta triggers that clause for Demiral, we need to go get one. We need to go get another center back. Justin Soforo says losing De Ligt for those two is a tough choice because you cripple the defense for the immediate future. Yeah, that's why I think it's a good question. Would you take Pogba and Haaland for sale of De Ligt? Let me know. YFG says I agree 100%. If getting Pogba and Haaland means losing De Ligt, he doesn't want them. De Ligt is the future of our backline. Okay. Timeout. What wins you games? Goals? This Haaland guy scores a goal per game. And I'm not saying De Ligt is replaceable, but if you have a cohesive backline, you can get strong performance out of your defense without having a guy like De Ligt. However, a guy like Haaland doesn't grow on trees. A guy like Haaland scoring a goal per game at this age, especially, like only who's done that before? Ronaldo and Messi, and they did it at a higher clip. Maybe Falcao for like those couple of years. It doesn't happen that often. That's why I'm all on the Haaland train. He needs to be bought, or at least everything possible to be bought. Hanin says, "What do you think about Franck Kessié? His contract finishes this season." I like Frank. The only thing is, when we do these Bosman deals, we overpay the salary, and that's what got us in this trouble in the first place. Of course, he'd be the second best midfielder on our team if we signed him. Now, Ramsey's contract is still on the books. Bentancur's contract is still on the books. Rabiot's contract is still on the books. We're having a hard time selling them now. So now, in a year from now, we're gonna struggle even more because they are aging more now. So it would be great to sign Franck Kessié, but we definitely need to sign him with the thought that the wages can't be that astronomical anymore. Usman says, Julian, how urgently do you feel the backline needs to be rejuvenated after the midfield gets sorted? Like, it has to be boom, boom. Like midfield sorted, defense sorted. Like this whole, we're transitioning on the fly here. Usually every transfer market, you want to get a solid defender, a solid midfielder, and a solid attacker, and you consider it a good transfer window. So that's my opinion about the transfer window. You don't have to buy 3 midfielders one season just to replace. No. You don't have to do that. Just get one in every one in every phase of positioning, like one defender, one midfielder, one attacker, and you keep doing that constantly every year. You're eventually going to phase out all the older players anyway. That's my philosophy on the transfer market, at least. But yeah, we need to get the midfield sorted. The defenders need to get, the center backs need to get sorted, and the left back situation. Oh my God. But yeah, it takes time. It takes time to rebuild your team. I'm a Detroit Red Wing fan in hockey, and it's been 4 years through a rebuild so far. It's not fun. The only good thing about in European football is that you get unlimited money if you have it to spend. So in hockey, you don't, and you're really bad for 4 or 5 years. Usman, don't apologize for writing, man. Keep going. Get the chat going. Jacob Vitorino, I think I know this guy. Keane and Chiesa are going to be deadly duo in 2 or 3 years. Yeah, I think they're going to be deadly. I think Chiesa is already a stud. If Keane can hop on the same pace, look out. So I'm really excited for those two, especially because they're young Italians. You'll probably see them start in World Cups in the future, Euro Cups. I'm not saying 2022 because I think Mancini's still going to use Immobile, which is not good. But I think that's what he'll do. But in future international competitions, I can see Keane and Chiesa being main focal points. So it is what it is. We'll see. Thanks for commenting, Jacob. You must be new. Joep Janssen says, De Ligt is the top 5 defenders and the future, so don't sell him even though you'll get lots of money. So yeah, his release clause is 150 mil next year. That's the release clause that kicks in. Does it line up with Haaland and Pogba coming in? And Raiola says, yeah, get out, or we want him to leave as part of that. We'll see. We'll see what happens. You thought this transfer window was nuts. Next year is the year of Raiola. So get ready for that. Smiley Face says, Raiola used to be Nedved's agent. Yes, he was. We can have a priority for Haaland if we have the perfect offer on the table. For sure. Listen, if we have what Raiola wants, Haaland's coming to us. I don't have any doubt in my mind. It just depends, because like Donnarumma, he was coming to us if we had the right offer. If we matched PSG's offer, Donnarumma was coming to us. No problem. So for this one, for Haaland next year, and for Pogba, I'm sure it's going to be the same or similar thing. Scrolling down, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and these videos. Yusuf says, would you take a healthy and informed Pellegrini over Alexandro? What is an informed Pellegrini? Have we seen that yet? I'm asking you, Yusuf. Let me know what a informed and healthy Pellegrini is. This is the one that has pinpoint crosses and still lacks defending or defensive ability. Maybe. I don't know. There's a lot of holes in our defensive organization these first 2 games. I'll tell you that. We don't have that midfielder that can cover a left back spot. Just like on Saturday against Empoli, we didn't have somebody covering Cuadrado when he was out to lunch. So, Comedian says, Haaland and Pogba plus left back, and we are back in the big leagues. Yeah, but again, does that mean we sacrifice De Ligt? Who knows? James Tonin, my Zio, says, finishing 4th again and losing in the knockout round in CL again will hurt our chances at obtaining a top-end talent. This is a very important season. Maybe the top guys might be swayed away because we're not at the top of our game anymore, or like a top dog team. But money is money. Money does talk, and we'll have some money next year. My sister left the charger in the red chair. Thank you, Olivia. Deepak Nair says, we could have really offered Verratti the same salary that he currently earns at PSG. He's a Juventino fan during his childhood days. Would have really made a significant upgrade to this midfield. We could have, but PSG offered more to Pescara. I think the board at the time was a little scared because Pescara was in Serie B, and they didn't probably want to invest that much money into a player from Serie B. It's obviously a regret. It's obviously hindsight at this point, but yeah. Okay, so here's the poll. So 55% of you said yes, 44% said no. 45 votes. That's awesome, guys. Good participation. That's a tight vote too. I think I'm in the camp of taking Haaland and Pogba. I love De Ligt. Don't get me wrong. I have his jersey, obviously. But if you get a generational goal scorer and another upgraded midfield, you can supplement the defense in some way that you'll have a decent guy for like another fee that can play. Armand says, I want Conte. Don't we all? Usman says, are the board going to renew Dybala's contract? They're really leaving this late. It's basically now or never until December, because once January hits, someone can offer him a poop load of money, and like he could definitely just accept the pre-contract and be gone. But yeah, we have until December now. Will it get done? Sources say yes. Agresti seems to believe that it's going to get done, and I always trust him. Syed says, why didn't we sign anyone? Does Allegri think that this team is good enough? Could be due to the fact that the board wants to save more, or as much money as possible for next year. There's different ways to look at this. Have the squad that we have this year right now and compete for top 4, hopefully Scudetto, get into the knockout phases of the Champions League, yada, yada, yada. do the same thing we almost did last year, but this time we'll have more money from the XOR capital investment, and just from capital, from net revenues from the ticket sales and all that noise. That's one way to look at it. Another way is that the board didn't deem anybody on the market helpful. So they might have not wanted Houssem Aouar. They might not have wanted Donny van de Beek. They might not have wanted Renato Sanchez, Icardi. They might not wanted them for this year only. Who knows what happened? I hope they do a press conference, and I hope they do an end of season or end of Mercato press conference just to say what was out there. Because in North American sports, they do that. And the NHL especially, the trade deadlines at free agent frenzies, the GMs at the end of the day or whatever, they go through the press conference and they say what was out there, what was not out there, and I like that, and I hope that we can have that with Cherubini maybe or Riva Bene. I'm 13 minutes behind on the channel or on the chat. Sorry, guys. YFG says, Julian, do you play or used to play football? Because I played as center back for both my high schools, and I'm playing from my college, university, or my A club in my country. Awesome. Yeah, I used to play. I don't really play anymore. I've kind of retired. But I used to play college as well. I was a left back, a center back, and during my youth, so I was about 19, and then when I came back to Canada to play, I was a center midfielder. Where do you play? What's your club in your college, university? What's that setup like? Let me know. James Azopardi says, I think we still have players for the 3-5-2. We definitely have the players. And it would suit Dybala well, but I don't want to waste a guy like Chiesa as a wing back. I know he's played there before for Fiorentina, but I want that guy picking up the ball in dangerous areas and attacking. I don't want him having to worry about playing defense and getting back into attack, because he can barely survive 60 minutes as it is, apparently. So I would like not for Chiesa to play as a wing back. I think that's what you're insinuating there. It looks like a Russian or a Greek name. He says Pogba will go to Real Madrid. There is a salary cap in Spain. If you're getting Mbappe for Real Madrid, if you're getting all these Galactico era, Camavinga, all these guys, I don't think Pogba's contract or salary could fit under that, especially because you still have Kroos, you still have Modric, you still have Benzema, you still have Hazard's contract, you still have all these guys' contracts. So Thibaut Courtois, the salary cap could put a dent into Pogba, especially if they're going guns blazing for Mbappe. YFG says he prefers Vlahovic over Haaland. Ooh. I'm going to disagree with you with that one, because in the Champions League, he still scored 10 goals in like 6 games, or like 13 goals in 8 games. And that's the best competition in the world. Usman says, goals win you games, defense wins you titles, Sir Alex Ferguson. Good for Sir Alex, but if you got a guy who's scoring every game, then I like my chances to win those games. Everyone's saying defense wins you matches. I get it. But I'm not saying De Ligt is replaceable, but you can get a guy to come in and physically replace him in the team and have the defense play as a team still and under a good organized defense. You can have someone shepherd a backline. It doesn't, like, De Ligt could still be that top guy in generational, but you can still have another guy come in and have the team play very organized and keep clean sheets still. But you can't replace a guy like Haaland, who's going to be in his prime scoring 50 goals a year. I'm sorry. That's my opinion. It is what it is. I agree with you that defense is important. I 100% agree. I was a defender. But you can get another guy to help shepherd a very defensive line. Paul Ibarra says, we could get Vlahovic instead of Haaland, Pogba for free, and we keep De Ligt. Okay, sure. There's a lot of options here. YFG says Adama Traore from Wolves is a baller. Is he a baller or is he just a really good athlete? Because there's two different things here. Um, he can beat someone one-on-one very easily, but his final product is, for lack of a better word, poor. It's not good. He doesn't score many goals, doesn't get many assists. Um, he does play with a good striker, so like you'd expect him to have some counting stats, but he's just pure raw athleticism, and I get why the allure's there, but in terms of straight up quality, I don't think so. Scrolling down, Syed has a couple of formation here. So he has Szczesny in goal, Danilo at the right back, Sandro left back, Chiellini, Dalit in the center backs, Locatelli, Arthur as the pivot, double pivot. I already have a problem with that. Kies on the left wing, Cuadrado on the right wing, Dybala down the middle, Kina Morata up front. So on a double pivot, Arthur should not be touching the field. He's just not defensively responsible enough. And then if you have Dybala as the middle, as a trequartista, you got 2 out of 3 midfielders you can't defend. And that is an issue, especially against the top teams. Like in the Champions League, if we go against Chelsea and we have Arthur, Dybala, and Locatelli, I think we'll get dinged around quite nicely by Jorginho, Conte, Mount, Havertz, Kovacic, Saul now. So we got to think about these. Like we got to think about all over the pitch and balance. YFG says, what do you think of a midfield 3 with Danilo as the defensive midfielder, McKennie, and Locatelli as the other 2 midfielders? So we saw Saturday against Empoli that Danilo as the holding midfielder, McKennie as the attacking midfielder, and the Rabiot? Yeah, Rabiot is the other midfielder. Oh no, we had Bentancur start too. Yeah, it was not good. It was not good. They don't add. There's no dynamism there. They're just workhorse kind of players. There's no creativity there. Locatelli definitely adds dynamism and creativity. However, Danilo should not be the defensive midfielder. He should not start on a top club as a defensive midfielder, somewhere he's never played before until he came to Juventus. So, no, he can't. He can't start there, and it has to be actually serious. Del Juve Piero says, I've given up on titles given the situation up front. All I want to see this season is a team on the right track. Yeah, and if that means a top 4 finish, and if that means a knockout game against Man City, and we lose to Man City in the knockout rounds, fine. I'm okay with that. As long as you see progress, as long as we don't get the absolute runaround, and you see that there's a team direction, I'm fine with that. We have to understand this as fans. This is a team in transition right now. You always want to win the title. You always want to win Serie A. I think that's the goal. But understanding that top 4 finish and a knockout round appearance in the Champions League, that's a successful season. And if you do stuff in the Coppa Italia again, good. Giuliano says, I agree that Haaland is a great talent, but Dalit has the spirit that Chiellini has and that Juventinita that we need. He fights for every ball, and if you have great defense, at least you'll draw. If you have a great striker, you might win with a goal. And again, I'm going to go back to, you can have another guy. Hold on, time out. Let's get this perfectly clear. I love Dalit, but if I could have Haaland and Pogba over Dalit, I'm taking those 2 over him. Dalit, you can replace the center back, and they can have the same defensive organization and shape. I'm going to say that until my face turns blue. But you don't always have a guy who can score 50-plus goals a season, especially hitting his prime. YFG says, when I want the hard truth, I listen to the Bianconeri zone. When I want to be calm and have things told to me in a nice way, I just listen to G Just Juve. Nice. Giuliano says, I would keep Dalit every single time. I'm not saying Haaland is a great player, but keeping Dalit at all costs is a must. So yeah, you can have different opinions, of course. We only have 13 likes. Get these likes up, guys. Come on. 70 to 85% of Juventus fans would prefer keeping De Ligt and getting Vlahovic instead of losing De Ligt and getting Pogba and Haaland. Proven, black and white. Julian, if you have a son, would you name him Juventino, Juventus, or Juventini? And if it's a daughter, would you name her Juventina? No. If I have a son, I'm going to name him Leo. And if I have a daughter, I'm going to name her Gigi. Scrolling down. Comedian says, outgoing list has one name missing, Felix Correa. That's right. You're right. That was earlier in the window. You're exactly right. So as long as you know, he's there, he'll be there too. So funny confirmation from Romano. Takehiro Tomiyasu signs for Arsenal from Bologna. If you remember, Tomiyasu is the center back or the right back that shut down Ronaldo and played really good against us all those years. So that's funny that he made a name for himself and he's gone to Arsenal and he's playing Ronaldo again. Bianconeri 1010 says, hi Julian, we had an option to buy Hamed Traore from Sassuolo for 18 million. Will it be valid for next season? That's a good question. I think we co-owned him. We bought him under the co-ownership thing. I think that rule's gone now. I don't know. Ale, help me out with that one. But yeah, so I don't know if we still have a right to buy him, but this will be a big season for him in particular because he'll have more playing time. He was decent last year. He was kind of inconsistent at some portions of the season, but that's to be expected with some younger players. But I like him. He's a strong player. I don't know. Again, he has to have a very good season and dominate for us to consider bringing him into the squad. Because I think if he has a really quiet season, then I think we'll just try and get like a guy like Damsgaard or something. Syed says, how will Allegri play now that Ronaldo has left? Will he play a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1? Man, I saw him play 4-3-1-2 for the better portion of his first part of his career at Juventus. But that's when he had very elite midfielders. He did that against Empoli, and where did it get him? A 1-0 loss to Empoli. So I think he will play in a 4-3-3, and he'll try and mix as many things that he'll just try to make stuff work. If he makes stuff work, then he'll find the right mix. Is what I'm trying to say. Again, I don't know exactly what he wants to do. He's got all of his players at his disposal now, so hopefully he figures it out. Kanan Rugansi says, do you think the Andrea Agnelli cycle is over? No, because he's still going to be there. He's still going to run the team. Serge Aurier has terminated his contract. Huh. Maybe you get him, and then you push Danilo over to the left side at left back. That'd be interesting. Probably too much money. So sorry, going back to Kanan, do you think Andrea Agnelli's cycle is over? I'm going to say no, just because he's so far into it now. He's still young enough to run the team. I think he'll still push on. He'll still use money. He'll use all the money that his family company has and it allows him to use. So I think it's fine. Jean-Pierre Ramos says, is Juventus a good European team? Historically, they're not the greatest. The Champions League speak for themselves. We only got 2 European Cups and 7 finals losses and a bunch of other disappointing outcomes. In terms of on paper, we usually are a better European team. On paper, we're still probably a top 2 team in Serie A. We're competing with Inter at this point. In terms of across Europe, are we top 10? Probably not. We could be top 10. We could beat anyone on any given day, that's for sure. I know that. But yeah, I would say we're a good European team. Jacob Vitorino says Danilo isn't used to the pressure. He has always been a backup his whole career. Besides when he played with Porto, they should look at selling him. I disagree. Danilo is one of those guys that has excelled during this dark time. Yes, he's been a career backup, but every time he plays for Juventus and starts, he doesn't do anything necessarily like amazing, but he's always solid. He's never going to have a 2 out of 10 performance. He's always going to be a 6, 5.5 to 7 performance, and you want that in your squad players. Jop Janssen says, who do you think except Haaland Juve needs to get right now or next year? Definitely need a striker, like a guy, a potent striker. Definitely need another midfielder, a creative midfielder, and we definitely need a center back and a left back. So we need 4 things. You know what? We probably need an upgrade in goalie too. So we need 5 things. We need an upgrade in net. We need an upgrade at left back. We need depth at center back. We need a creative midfielder, and we need a top striker. So that's 5 things. And that's not going to all happen next year. So don't even ask for that. It takes time. James Azopardi is suggesting a 3-4-3 with Szczesny as the goalkeeper. And the back 3 is obviously De Ligt, Bonucci, Chiellini. And the 4, he says, I guess, Danilo, Locatelli, blank, Alexandro. And then up front is who's Seawad? Sorry. Dybala, Chiesa. Oh, Quadrado. Okay, that makes sense. So the midfielder in between Locatelli there would probably be a Rabiot or Bentancur at this point. It's tough, though. 3-4-3, it's a whole new formation to learn. Chelsea did it, and they won a Champions League. So if you can convince your players to play that way and you're successful at it, anything can happen. Syed's suggesting a 4-1-2-1-2, the wide version, not the one with all 4 center midfielders. Locatelli is a holding mid. Dybala is an attacking mid. Quadrado, Chiesa on the wings, and Morata, Keane up front. He said Icardi, but we didn't get Icardi. You're really light in the center of the park if we're going to do a 4-1-2-1-2 with only Locatelli. A lot of teams fill the midfield in now. They usually have 3 center midfielders. And especially if you have a guy like Dybala playing attacking mid, he's not defensively responsible enough to help out. So I would suggest if we're going to play a 4-1-2-1-2, have the wider guys come in and help. But Chiesa and Quadrado aren't those guys, so I don't see that formation working out. We got about 6 more minutes, guys. Thank you all for joining again. Be sure to like the video. Be sure to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We really appreciate all your efforts to stay online with us on transfer deadline day and throughout the season. That's going to happen. Keep tuned in to our content that's coming up. Andrew Finnan says Agnelli is worth 19.1 billion. I think Exor is. I don't think he is himself. Abdul Rahman Baishan says we need to start from scratch like we did before when we sold Tevez, Vidal, and Pirlo, and many more. No one had talked about this point. We don't have to start from like we have some key players in good spots. We have some very good players. We don't need to start from scratch. We need a creative midfielder. We need a striker. We need a depth defender. And a left back. But like again, left backs, you can find those anywhere. Home of Juve says, yo, what's going on? Zenith says, come on, at this moment, we aren't top 10. Our midfield isn't even top 20. Our fullbacks aren't elite. Maybe Quadrado, but I don't know. And our goalkeeper is questionable. Yeah, but okay, so name 9 better teams. And I can give you reasons why we can beat them. So if that's not a top 10 team, I don't see why we aren't. James has a party meant Quadrado. Yeah, so yeah, I eventually got to that. Bianconeri 1010 says, I hope Allegri will use Locatelli as a holding midfielder and not a Mazzala. We really need a solid CDM more than anything. Yes, but again, we didn't address that in the market, so we'll see what he has to do, or what Allegri has to do. I'm a proponent of using players in their best strength, like in their best possible position. So if Locatelli is at his best as a Mezzala, use him there. Just like if Dybala is a creative center or support striker, use him there. Don't use McKennie as a forward. Use players in their more comfortable positions so they can succeed, because that's what they're used to. Especially if you don't have the type of talent that you think we have. Especially if you have these top class talents, then you can put them anywhere. But if you have certain players that are not top class talents, but they're just good players, use them where they're best at. Home of Juve says we have 0 left wingers. Sign Damsgaard. Is Chiesa not a left winger? I don't know. Damsgaard, yeah, I would like to have Damsgaard, but if Chiesa is a left winger, then we have a left winger. James as a party, there's a big problem with how to do a formation. Good night. Yeah, there is. Allegri's got a tough job on his hands. I don't envy him, but a lot of expectations, not as much talent as before, but we'll see. We'll see what he comes up with, and we won't know until September 12th, because I think that's when we play Napoli. Luis says, with a 4-3-3, where would Dybala fit in? His position is very complicated. So yeah, at the beginning of the show, I said I would like him to play as a support striker, dropping in from the right wing, so Cuadrado can have all the space going down the right. I think that's best for him, because we saw him at his best playing just underneath Higuain when Higuain was at his top of his game. So I think Dybala is at his best when he has a little bit more space, and that space is created by the center forward, like Higuain, like a Morata or a Keane. So hopefully that happens. Zenith says we can beat them, yes, but are we better? I'm not sure. Again, if you beat the team, you're better than them. That's what I'm like. That's why I think we are a top 10 team, because if I think we can beat a Liverpool, I think we can beat PSG. I think we can beat all these teams. It's just on our day, we have to do exactly what the coach says, and we have the players that are able to do it. Just like in 2017, were we a top 2 team in Europe? No. On paper, no way. We weren't. But we played as a team. We did what the coach wanted, and we persevered, and we got to a final. And then we got dicked, of course, by a way better team. But still, it all depends on how you play on the day. We could beat anyone. We just got to listen to what the coach has for tactics and be good technically on the ball. Job Janssen says, 4-3-3, Szczesny, Sandro Dalit, Chiellini, Cuadrado, Locatelli, Arthur Dybala, Chiesa, Keane, Kulu. That's a very attack-minded team. Not a lot of balance there defensively. I like it. I like it for FIFA. But in terms of defensive balance, not so much. But maybe we'll have to do that one game when we need a goal. Usman says, if Allegri fails to get top 4 and we don't get to the last 16 in the Champions League, do we sack him? I don't think we can afford to sack him, because we have 4. We signed him for 4 years, and we're still paying off a bunch of other coaches. So it wouldn't be prudent to just sack him after 1 year. Just I say 2 years is fine. Then if he doesn't improve next year, then you can look at sacking him. Okay, so I'm going to do one more one more question, and we're going to wrap it up. It's going to be Home of Juve's, who should be our right winger? If we have our ideal lineup in my mind, and Cuadrado is the right back, I want Dybala to be the right winger as an inverted right winger under the striker. Again, allowing Cuadrado to bomb forward and join the attack, similar to what Italy did in the Euro Cup. So, and that's that. That's my opinion. Okay, I like this one. I'll read one more comment and that's it. Like this one, James Azopardi says, to rebuild Juventus first, we have to get the best Italian players. Then you can get the top players. That's a comment for Justin Soforo. He's all about all the Italian players. I am too, not to the same extent. Like I don't want Matteo I don't want Pessina to join the team just because he's Italian. But yeah. So to rebuild Juventus first, we have to get the best Italian players. We're on our way. We've got 6 of them now. Okay? So everyone take a deep breath. Enjoy the international break. Look at the upcoming content we have. Don't forget to like the video. Subscribe to the channel as always. Follow Bianconeri Zone on Twitter and Instagram at Bianconeri Zone. Follow Justin Soforo on Twitter at Justin Soforo. And follow me if you want with all these bad takes that I have at Gennady151. Thanks, guys, for tuning in again. We'll see you next time. Have a good night.